guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Andre and today is just another day in the life. And today I'm bringing you another video for our newest series called Tuesday's Animal Topic of the Day. If you would like a future shout out, go ahead and comment a topic you would like me to cover down below. And if I feature your topic in an upcoming video, I will be sure to give you a shout out. Go ahead and grab a coffee, grab any beverage of your choice, a snack, a furry friend, and let's get started with this video. I'm just going to sip some coffee real quick. So that brings us to today's topic, which is sugar glider myths and misconceptions. Shockingly, well, I guess not shockingly to some of you guys, but some of you guys might be shocked at some of these myths. But with any animal or any species, there's always going to be some sort of myths, and I'm here to dispel them when it comes to sugar gliders. The first myth is that they never bite. This is totally false. Any animal can bite, even the calmest dog or cat has a chance of biting because they're animals. That's what they do. They're unpredictable. You can reduce the chance and risk of your sugar glider biting by socializing them and calming them down with a lot of attention and treats, but it's always going to be a possibility because even my sugar gliders have bitten accidentally when they think my finger is a treat. So it's just something that is not true. There's always a chance that there could be a bite. Another myth that's very common and a lot of people even promote is that they need a heat rock. That is false. Some pet store and some actual breeders outside of a pet store send a heat rock home if the joey is not of maturity really to wean, which means they're not really the typical age that you would see a joey being weaned, so they're taken prematurely before they're ready. And if you do notice anyone trying to send you home with a heat rock, breeder, or pet store, that's a clear sign and red flag to stay far away from that breeder or whoever it is, because chances are that they are pulling the joeys from their parents way before they're ready to. And this isn't a fact of, oh, it's a day and they would have been weaned. This is someone who's pulling joeys way in advance to when they would typically be weaned. As long as your house is between 70 to 85 degrees, then they'll be perfectly fine. And also, I never promote getting a sugar glider on their own. They definitely need a buddy to keep, and that will help keep them warm. So definitely, if you can get them a buddy, that would be great. Never, ever, ever put any kind of heating source inside their cage. It can actually burn them, and it can even cause death. It can be fatal if it's bad enough. If it is chilly, like I know those of you that live in the northern states, it does snow, it gets cold. If it is chilly, you can use a heater in the room that the sugar gliders are housed in, or you can put a fleece blanket over their cage, or you can add some fleece blankets to their pouch so that they can get warm that way, but never put anything in their cage. Another common myth is that all they need are pellets and apples. This is false. Any sugar glider, and really any animal, you need to research what diet they need before they even come home with you. And in the case of sugar gliders, they need a really good staple diet, which you can find all of those diets in one of my previous videos, or you can also go on sugarglider.info, and it has a ton of information on diets and everything on there. But they definitely need a good staple diet. Packaged foods do not contain everything they need. They don't contain all the nourishment and enrichment that they need. So definitely don't purchase anything store-bought. Typically steer clear away from anything that's pre-packaged or complete, because there just hasn't been enough research done to come up with a fully complete diet for sugar gliders. Another myth is that they will bond with my cat, dog, or whatever animal that I want them to. This is a common misconception, and some people will say, oh, well, they get along fine with my cat and my dog, yada yada. They can get along with other animals typically, but Would I do it? No. And would I recommend it? No, because it's just extremely dangerous. First of all, I would never recommend a sugar glider bond with a cat or play with them, because cat saliva as well as cat catnip is very toxic to sugar gliders. They can actually get very sick and die from cat saliva or anything like that. Also, they move fast, they're small, they trigger the prey instinct in a lot of animals, even if it's a really calm dog or whatever it may be. Their prey instinct can always be triggered because, again, they are animals and they are unpredictable. And also, gliders eat animals like mice and rats in the wild, and they're capable of doing that, so it's not recommended that you even put them with other mammals of similar size. Another common misconception is that it's not possible to ethically ship a sugar glider. It is possible, but mainly what you have to look for is you have to make sure that you only board with an airline that accepts live cargo. If they accept live cargo, it will be a climate-controlled, pressurized cabin, so it will be completely safe for them, and with the right breeder that knows how to get them ready for shipping and all of that, there should be no issues whatsoever. I don't like to ship any of my joeys just because it's my preference, but could I ship? Absolutely, yes. If I wanted to, I could ship. Another common misconception is that you should only adopt from USDA licensed breeders or brokers. This is also false, because there are some good non-USDA breeders, and not only that, but USDA has lower standards than most even practice. For example, they don't have any specific requirements for diet, they don't have requirements for lineage, they also don't have like many requirements when it comes to cage size. So a lot of USDA breeders can get away with super small cages for their gliders, which is not good. So definitely, as long as you do the research and you know that they're educated, they know their stuff, and they're an excellent breeder, then why not? The only place I would not recommend purchasing gliders from are pet stores, pretty much, because pet stores a lot of times are not educated on gliders, and they're pulling the joeys away way too prematurely, and they're not ready to be pulled away or weaned, for that matter. The next myth is that leashes, harnesses, or diapers are great and necessary. This is false because of the fact that any of those items restricts the patagium. The patagium is the gliding membrane of the glider that allows them to do a gliding motion across the cage or from tree branch to tree branch in the wild. Also, there is no way to potty train or have a diaper on a glider. I know some people say, yes, I did potty train my glider, but in reality, holding a glider over a paper towel when they wake up is not potty training, because it's just natural. They're going to pee as soon as they wake up. If you do have them out for a prolonged period of time, then they're most likely just going to pee and poop all over you all over again. They do need regular potty breaks. And they can't be fully potty trained to use a litter box or anything like that. They don't know how to hold their urine and poop. Another myth is that sugar gliders don't have a smell, or that I've heard they smell like Fruit Loops. I don't know about that. I've honestly never ran into anybody or any of my own gliders that have smelt like Fruit Loops. That's extremely bizarre to me, but if you guys know of a sugar glider that actually smelled like Fruit Loops, let me know down below. But I'm gonna go ahead and call this one false. They can have an odor for many reasons. It can be caused by a bad diet. It can be caused by them being marked by a male, or because they're breeding. Males in general will tend to have a muskier smell. So in general, they're going to have a slight smell. Also, another thing not many people think of is that if you over clean the cage, that can also create them to over mark and have more of an odor. So it's recommended you don't clean as often for sugar gliders, or you don't clean the entire cage at once. The next myth is that they are fine without a friend. This is false. They are a colony animal and they enjoy being with their own kind. Things that can happen to certain gliders if they don't have a friend or someone to interact with of their own kind is that they can become very depressed, and sugar gliders can even mutilate themselves, or they can stop eating, stop drinking, stuff like that. The next myth is that sugar gliders get along well with children. This, when I was doing my research, everything was saying false, but I don't want to say it's completely false because I do know that there are exceptions. An example are my children. My children are 6, 5, and newborn pretty much. And my 5 and 6-year-old, they handle the sugar gliders just fine, just like I would. But it's because they had proper education on sugar glider care and how to handle them, how not to yank on the tail. But typically they are not good with children just because children usually do not understand or are not mature enough to handle a glider because they'll do things like tug on the tail or aggravate or move too fast. So that one I'm gonna say is partly false, but not all the way false because there are exceptions. The next common myth is that sugar gliders can easily be potty trained. So this one's not so much of a myth. It is false. It's just mostly misleading though, as opposed to a full-on myth. Gliders will go potty when they first wake up. So a lot of people use that and they'll put them over a paper towel or something so that they go potty, and then when they come out right away, they're less likely to urinate or defecate on you. But that's not really potty training because they will need to go potty again after a while, and they don't go in litter pans by choice. They are not aware of how to hold in their urine or feces. So that is false. Sugar gliders cannot easily be potty trained. Another misconception that some of you guys might be like, whoa, what, really? That's even on this list? But yes, it is. And it's that a lot of people think that sugar gliders need their teeth trimmed. That is definitely false. I could see where some people might believe this because a lot of people think that sugar gliders are rodents whenever they are actually marsupials and mammals. And shockingly, a lot of vets offer this service because they don't know a lot about gliders, and many of them also consider gliders rodents, even though they're not rodents at all. Their teeth do not grow. They stay the same size. They don't need anything to chew on or any of that. So just don't do it, please. Because once you trim their teeth, they will not grow back, and they can have difficulty eating and all of that. Another myth is that they're not noisy. That's false, because if you own sugar gliders, you'll know this already, but they make a whole bunch of different weird noises. They make this crabbing noise when they're annoyed. They make a little chattering noise, or like they sing to their babies whenever you're breeding and they have babies in pouch. They like to run a lot on their wheels. Also, they like to bark like a dog, and it's pretty loud. I actually did not know that my sugar gliders barked, or any sugar gliders did for that matter, when I was first starting out, and I had no idea on much about sugar gliders. I didn't do my full research yet. So I heard my gliders barking one night, and I thought that a dog was in our house. I thought a Chihuahua got in our house for some crazy reason. Don't ask me how I believe that. But yes, they can bark and make all these crazy noises. So they're definitely not for people that like their sleep, unless you have a specific area that they can stay in away from your room. But definitely if they're in your room, it's something you're going to have to get used to. Another common myth, believe it or not, is that they won't breed with offspring or their parents. This is completely false. I don't know why anyone would believe that, because animals are animals, and if you put them together and they're opposite sexes, they're not going to distinguish between their brother or sister or their mom or dad. They're just going to breed. That's part of nature. So the only way to stop a pair from breeding or to prevent breeding is to go ahead and neuter any males that you have. Sugar glider females actually cannot be spayed. It's too risky of a surgery. And no reputable vet will offer the surgery. It's just too dangerous for them. So definitely neuter your males. Another myth is that they never have to see a vet. This is false, and mainly because, yes, they don't need to go as often as some other animals, but they still need to see a vet in instances where you're breeding or freak accidents happen. They are nocturnal, so it's very important to have a 24/7 vet that you can go see. And not only that, they don't get any vaccines or anything, but you need a good vet anyways in case you need a male neutered or whatever you may need. So they do need to see a vet, and every once in a while it's actually really good to take them to the vet to get their well checkups. So that's definitely false. And the last but not least, well, I guess last myth, is that it's good to pull joeys from their parent early for a special bond. This is false. Now, a lot of you guys might know from past videos, and I talk about it, when you're breeding sugar gliders, it is important to handle the joeys from the day they come out of pouch, but you're not actually pulling the joeys from their parent. I'm talking about the breeders and people that completely pull the joey away before they're ready to be weaned just because they want to make a quick sale or something. So definitely, that's never a good thing. Joeys need their parents. They need to come of age. They need to be mature enough to wean themselves. And if you're pulling them apart, you can stunt their growth, and they could even die if they don't have what they need. So I want to thank you guys for sitting in on this video. I realize it was a long video, but there were just a lot of myths and certain misconceptions to cover. Go ahead and stay tuned for next week's Tuesday's animal topic of the day, and have a great day, guys. Bye.